Daniel Lucas, and welcome to Abstract Essay, where the essay shape thought find out and every conversation explores the art of thinking beyond the obvious. And today I have my special guest. He's the CEO, co-founder of Voltage, no other than Mr. Neil Twa.
Hello. How are you doing today?
I'm fabulous, Mr. Neil, and welcome on Abstract Essay. And can you please introduce me more about yourself that I missed?
Well, we've been in the business building world for quite a long time, 18 years now in offline and online businesses, lead generation, affiliate marketing, and then eventually into brand building and private label products. Starting around 2012, starting on the Amazon FBA channel, really building that up to scale by 2015 when we hit our first seven figures in our first brand. And then over the years, have been continuing to build and expand those brands into 12 new ones. And we also expanded out into TikTok and Shopify and retail channels and Walmart.com. And to really create what we consider to be an omni-channel e-commerce business, not a single channel business. And as builders and operators, daily, weekly, monthly activities, but also bringing people along for the ride to learn how to become CEO operators by giving them mentoring and coaching to allow them to build and grow businesses to scale. For us, scale businesses could be 5, 10, or $30 million in sales within 5 years, just to give you some growth perspective, and to do it with a end in mind, which is the exit, the generational wealth opportunity that can be created from that, and just seeing e-commerce as a business model that is an alternative to Wall Street investing or traditional methods of building wealth, and that the business building activity, when done correctly, can also create those same roads and opportunities for wealth generation in your family.
And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Mr. Neil. Thank you, thank you. So today, let's talk about the four steps to building a
Sure.
real profitable and sustainable econ business, starting with the private label.
hmm
So tell us, your title emphasizes a real profitable and sustainable. What's the most illusion or shortcut new sellers chase that directly undermines all three of those goals from the start?
Well, there are four components to that. There is what I call the team effort, or the time, energy, attention, and money required to build, optimize, scale, maybe even grow to an exit in the business. So they're gonna have to be willing to deploy the right amount of time to learn the knowledge, to start that first step of learning, which we call, what the hell do I sell? The first thing that everybody has questions about. What do I actually sell to make money in a private label brand? And that's the real first crux to any of these things, that most people kind of skimp through that process a little bit. Maybe they lean a little too much on technology and not enough on really understanding who it is they're selling to and why they're selling that product. And they also don't really understand that in today's world, we are selling data to AI engines, and the AI engines are using their super brain audience intersect to find that right customer and sell that product to them. And what that means in the world of finding a product at the very beginning is you need to take the time to make sure you really understand who that audience is, why they're buying, what are the different use cases for why they're using the product. And then you need to make sure that you give the right data to the AI engine, kind of like a prompt, the right prompt and structured data correctly to ensure that the image you get out of it represents exactly what your product brand and narrative and product type are serving in the marketplace. So then it will basically create this automated engine aspect of finding that customer for you. If you put garbage in, you're going to get garbage out. And I think a lot of people make that mistake at the very first step of their business.
Mr. Neil, before we even get to the four steps, what are the non negotiable personal traits or mindset shifts someone needs to adopt to survive in any platform that they are, well,
Yeah, across
working
any
on?
business type, there's a success mindset. It comes from experience. Either you have it and are willing to hone it and move it into wisdom, or you're willing to go get that experience through a series of failures and wins that create the necessary knowledge to gain the wisdom you're searching for in your growth and your business. And that will take whatever time it's going to take. I think a lot of people believe there is some kind of shortcut on the internet to fast tracking wealth, and really there is not. There are years to an overnight success. And so when we talk about business building, we talk about it in 3 to 5 years. If you can do anything in 3 to 5 years necessary to support the growth of your business and your opportunity, then you can potentially live like no one else can after that, which is a great myth strategy from the book if you've ever understood it. And in the world of actual business, it is not just true, it is the right process to accepting a business. So in year one, we're going to be in our growth year. The build year, comes first. In that build year, we're going to lay the foundation and framework for a potentially life-changing, lifelong opportunity. So we're not going to do that wrong. We're going to will build the business from the beginning with the end in mind, which could be the generational handoff to your family or even the generational exit that can occur when you spend enough time building that business to the right level. So then by year 2 into 3, you are in the growth mode. All right. Growth mode means you're turning that business into profit. You're turning that profit into more business through marketing and additional product lines. And by year 3 to 5, you may have a scale opportunity to really see that business mature in the market. So a success mindset looks at it in years, not even months or days. A success mindset understands the macro implications of a purpose driven process and gets out of the micro hopium guru mindset and realizes that if they really want to change something in 3 to 5 years, they're going to have to put in the necessary work to do it. It doesn't take 3 to 5 months or 3 to 5 minutes in business. Those are the lies and the hopium that people buy into, and they think that they're missing some key growth hack and ingredient to allow that to happen for them. And what we really need them to understand in the success mindset of business building at any level of business, from real estate to e-com to building your own cars or going out and building houses or whatever it is you're doing, it is a time-based opportunity and a delayed gratification that they need to understand in that process. Therefore, perseverance, tenacity, and a go-getter attitude who's willing to solve problems that others are not willing to solve will be the ones that ultimately get that reward.
Interesting indeed, Mr. Neil. You call it business, not a side hustle. How does that semantic differences change your entire approach to things like reinvestment, brand and building, or a long-term planning?
Business building is looking at it in a 3 to 5 year. Side hustle is looking at it at the 3 to 5 minute window. I need something this month, 30 days. I need to be doing something every day that leads me to some extra cash every month. And I've been there, and having been on the backside of a bankruptcy, there's no shame in the game. You need to make it, you need to hustle it, you need to get it done for your family. That's priority number one. But if you're going to look at it for the longer term, that can't be the ultimate goal here. You can't be so narrow minded in your focus that you don't see the abundant opportunity, even if it's not in front of you. And this is very difficult to do, to look at the abundance and realize at this moment, while the money isn't near me because it's flowing like a river, it doesn't mean the river isn't there. It just means I'm not close to it right now. So, how do I get close to it? Well, I stop thinking in short term and I stop thinking in just side hustle and hobby business. And I start thinking about what would a real business look like? How would a real business function for me? And then how do I move the ball forward till I get to that ultimate goal of building that business, if it takes me 1 year or 10 years? It just means that you need to look at that focus in a very different way, not in a side hustle or hobby, but in an actual business building venture. So therefore, you're willing to deploy whatever time is necessary. You'll put whatever energy and effort it takes to get it done. You'll go above what others are not willing to do. And you also understand the money factor in making that long term opportunity go. While it may not be near you now, a side hustle might be the right way to go for it. But an ultimate business building experience is one that you're going to build toward with a success mindset. And the success mindset knows that money is actually in abundance, it's not in a scarcity, and that it's just simply not near you right now. But you're going to need to take the actionable steps, even imperfectly, to get going and get something perfect happening along the way.
Abundance, abundance indeed. So, what is the single most important metric to watch in the first 90 days that tells you whether you are building a real business or just a gambling on a product?
Right. Well, if you're gambling, then there's no opportunity for you in business. Business is not a gamble. Business is a strategy. Business is an execution. It's an implementation. It is a purpose and value driven exercise that leads to profit. Profit being the number one metric you should always focus on. Your goal is to get your business generating revenue so that from revenue, you can generate growth. And from growth, you can dial in your profit. Okay. At the profit metric, that's when things change. Can a product launch in my world become profitable in the first 90 days? Yes. But in actuality, it takes 90 to 180 days for a new product launch to see its real profit turn into an opportunity that can be reinvested back into the business to create a compounding growth effect. So when folks launch a business in the first year within our 5x5 framework, their goal is to reinvest all profits back to the business for year one. That creates a compounding interest opportunity within the business. There's simple interest and compounding interest. Do we know the differences in the two? I certainly hope we do if you're listening to this podcast. Simple interest is very different than compounding interest. To create a compounding interest opportunity in your business, you're going to have to stop seeing it at the simple level and you're going to have to start seeing it as a compounding opportunity that in the first 90 days, as I see product opportunity, I want to reinvest everything back into that profit growth. There's going to be a kind of a carrot curve that will occur at some point. The revenue and growth of that product will now exceed its expenses. Okay. And you will end up with a gross profit. All right. And a gross profit is not net, just to be very clear. But at that gross profit level, you're now going to see your way to a net profit. And a net profit is what you actually get to keep. It's very critical. But if everybody believes they can run to a net profit opportunity in the first 90 days in a physical private label world, that's actually not the correct thinking. So we need to be thinking in quarter by quarter and year by year. That's what smart business owners actually do. Smart marketers, smart people who want to get in, and aspiring entrepreneurs need to see that opportunity, that they're looking at a quarter by quarter, 90 by 90 day, and they want to see growth and opportunity and a path to profitability. And as they continue to work that, the profitability will obviously go because the process they're following can be repeated into growth and scale. So we want to be realistic with our timeframes. And can products get to profitability in the first 90 days? Absolutely. If you take the profit out, you now have a new problem that you have to solve, and that's capitalization.
Yes, be realistic, people. So beyond the standard advice of a low competition, high demand, and what are the less obvious game-changing criteria you use to vet a truly viable private label product?
First thing I look at, net profit. So I've built a system called our Cayman and Data Intelligence Engine, and within it is our methodology called green light. And green light is as simple as it may sound. It is green lights, yellow lights, red lights. Okay. Green lights profitability, that product is a go. Yellow means I need to work on the product itself in terms of its cost of goods, or I need to work on its retail price point in order to make it green. Red, don't go. So we have data from Amazon, what's called Product Opportunity Explorer data. We combine that data with our green light process, and my tool set helps us understand exactly which products are in the highest net profitability. Then I'm able to see into the node data inside of Amazon, which is basically the big filing system of Amazon's data that tells me where does that brand product live and is it a profitable node? Meaning, are there other products that can round out a total portfolio of a brand? And I can see myself launching those products. So I want to brand myself around that particular area in Amazon's database. And then I want to be able to see that there is a competition, even high competition, which is okay, because that means there is high demand for that product that already exists. I don't have to think it up. I'm watching the data and it tells me, yeah, high profitability, high demand, high profit node. I have exactly the data I need to take a product to market. Now, the second biggest thing, okay, is that when I have that data, it does not mean that I necessarily know how to sell the product just yet, which comes down to images, listing, copywriting, and the framework that is created to ensure that people see the product data, the images, graphic, copy, et cetera, and go, oh, that's what I need. That's what I want. It's in demand. I see that you have it, and I want one. So once you have the right data, the next most critical step is ensuring that you really understand how you're selling the product. And that's market research to determine who you're selling the product to. And I'll give you a shortcut. Here's the pro tip for those paying attention at home. You're selling data to an AI engine. Welcome to 2025. Guess what happens in 2026? Everybody catches on to that. We sell data to AI engines. Okay. The AI engines that are super smart now with their large language models and all their processing power already understand everything about all of us. We've given it all of our information. So it knows who we are, what we're buying, what we're doing, where we're going, what particular types of things we're doing with products. And if I give it all the information, what it's going to do is churn that audience, intersect around, and go find how many 200 million people on Amazon are buying products and which amount of those 200 million people match my product. And then it's going to start presenting it to them automatically. I don't even have to market, it does it for me. Very cool system, right? And because
Yes.
if I give it the right information, with the right profitability, and I give that system the right prompt of data for my product, okay, it is going to go sell it to the right people and I'm going to get sales. Now it's servicing the customer. I'm providing the product by which it's going to sell to the customer. That's my job. But that's a marketing automation engine with billions of dollars a year worth of data flowing through it. I just need to give it the right information and get out of its way.
Mr. Neil, as the CEO and co founder, what are your short term and long term goals?
Short term is to get a product set in the market. Our SaaS software called CaymanData.com launched in the first quarter of 2026. It is a methodology, a tool set, a training, a high touch, white glove, done with you software product platform. It's not just a product research, it's an entire product development platform. And get that into the market in the first year. So, those who want to go through this process, evaluate the products, have touch points, knowledge bases, software tool set, and people to support them in that process of learning and growing across the product line for 2026. That will be launching. That's going to be my short term priority. My long term priority is to have it within 3 to 5 years to have at least 500 to 1,000 people on the platform. I don't need millions of people. I don't need tens of thousands of people. The way our product platform works is, getting to 500 to 1,000 people with that high level touch support is going to make sure that I and my team support every person who's developing a product line. That's my long-term goal for that platform, is to really just see the most successful people possible getting as much support as they need to build their products and brands. And why would I be doing that? Okay, here's my big evil capitalistic agenda. You ready? For
Ready,
those people who become
Mr. Neil.
successful in that opportunity, we have private label buyers, we have M&A, mergers and acquisitions on the back end, and I have the ability to consult and help them move their business into an exitable state, or even help them through private equity acquire that company. So I am both the beginning, the middle, and the potentially end of their journey as they become a business that's worth selling. So I get to help them through that entire process. As I do that, I may take ownership in the company later on as a part of that acquisition, or they may have a great exit in which I can participate, and everybody wins in that game. So my big evil capitalistic agenda is to get people successful in business so I can either help them sell or acquire their businesses.
Good luck to your goals, Mr. Neil, and looking forward for more success. And what will be your piece of advice for those people out there want to be like you?
I would say that the people who can end up with the opportunity that we're talking about today are going to be the ones that really realize that 3 to 5 years is not a long time frame, that deploying the right amount of time, energy, attention, and money has already been done in other ways and shapes and forms in their life. So they understand what it means to build a business, not a side hustle or a hobby, and that they really want that opportunity, that purpose and value driven aspect of a business within their life and their finances, and even their future of their children and children's children, by building something that can be handed down as a potential legacy, and looking at it as an alternative to just throwing money in the stock market or other locations, by building an asset driven business model that has a upside, a saleable asset when you create it and build it. And there are lines of people who want to buy these companies. There's a lot of opportunity for those who build that. So what I would say to people is just to remember that, there's a lot of excuses. I don't have the time, I don't have the energy, I don't have the money right now, I have all these excuses. And I've had them all myself. But the differentiator are the people who will go around that and figure out how to get it done. They will see those excuses as no longer valid, and they will realize that their opportunity begins at the end of their excuses. And so they simply need to take action and get moving, or they'll never get there if they just sit on the couch thinking about it and never doing anything.
Yes, and thank you for the advice, Mr. Neil. And can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
Well, I always go back to Good to Great by Jim Collins because while it has case studies that are no longer relevant because the businesses that became great, a couple of them actually went bankrupt, including Walgreens. The principles of business mindset, who you put on the right seat in the bus when it comes to the people of the business, what is a good or a great company actually look like? Those principles are extremely valuable for aspiring entrepreneurs and entrepreneur business builders who are in the throes of getting their business going, maybe listening to this or wanting growth and profit and scale. It's a great book that ties both of those people together in in what Jim Collins discovered and talks about in that book.
Yes, and thank you for the recommended book, Mr. Neil. Then tell us if you had to name the valley of death phase most private label sellers fall in, which step is it? What specific action gets them through it?
They typically, when they are having trouble, they typically want to run from that trouble instead of solving the problems. When they get into a certain growth mode, they tend to start hoarding the business instead of continuing to grow the business. So at the end of the day, I see a lot of sellers I speak to who are not meeting their growth, their potential, and their upside because their risk to reward ratio has come out of balance, and they now feel that everything is a risk. Therefore, the only reward they have is in holding on to what they have right now, and that is usually the wrong answer. So I will tell you that most business owners who can get past that, past $1 million to a $5 million business, are going to find that the growth of a $5 million or more business, once they reach that point, is no longer systems and processes, which are required between $1 million and $5 million, but they are the mindset and the risk level of the business owner itself. And that is what will usually hold the businesses back.
Yes, and before we wrap up our discussion for today, Mr. Neil, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too, comedy 101 third season, and my food 101 is sixth season and this December. Geography 101, love letters, movie 101, music 101, fourth season, science 101, sex 101 in second season of my baby podcast, Law 101 and Mental Health, Bible Verses 101, and Entrepreneur 101 coming this December. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Mr. Neil, given the increasing competition and cost on Amazon, is it private label FBA model is still the best starting point for a new e-commerce entrepreneur in 2024 or 2025 and 2026?
I would say if you're looking for a longer term sales opportunity, yes, Amazon is the opportunity to really go through brand building. There are new mechanisms by which Amazon is allowing customers through, let's say, Voltage to go and get on what's called Launchpad, which really helps them launch and grow and scale faster. So those incentives are pretty amazing now for those who are going to be growing, which isn't something that, say, TikTok can do, and Shopify is just a platform of sales. So they don't really support you in the growth. Amazon will actually help that. And it's a great place for beginners to get started. The second closest place in today's world is probably TikTok. TikTok Shop is a great way to move the physical product side of your business through affiliates and ads. There's a huge upside potential in the growth of that, what is demand creation of the product and opportunity through affiliates and marketing. But I would say either one of those platforms is going to be channels of omni-channel you're going to want to be on. And then eventually you're going to want to go to something like walmart.com. You're going to want to put your Shopify online. And then you may even consider taking that brand beyond all of those things into, say, retail, where it's still 51% of all the US sales are retail. So it's still a huge upside. For those who have a good brand, strong product line, and know their numbers, retail could be an opportunity as well.
Yes, indeed. So, Mr. Neil, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your business, your advocacy, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Sure. You can go to voltagedm.com, click the Learn More button, and you can watch a 45-minute presentation with myself and Kevin Harrington, who was the original shark from Shark Tank, as we go over our as seen on TV strategy for building demand creation as well as demand capture. There's a book that goes over those as well. that gives you the strategy guide for how we build, create, launch, and exit these companies. And of course, I have a podcast called the High Voltage Business Builders Podcast. It's a mouthful. That we host guest spots every Wednesday, and then I do a weekend review every Friday. We are the top 2.5% on listen notes now, and for our podcast, so we reach a great audience in the e-commerce space. And if you want to continue to listen and learn more about the world of e-com and physical and private label products, I encourage you to check that out.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Neil Twa, because if you support him, for sure, more and more empowering advocacy like this will rise. So, Mr. Neil, thank you so much for your time.
I'm honored. Thank you for having me on.
Mordecai, people, see you soon.